Wizards of the Coast is going to try, but players will see this coming a mile away. Hasbro, and by extension Wizards of the Coast, are not recession-proof. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thanks a lot for hanging out with me on the channel today. We are about 400 subscribers away from hitting 13,000 subs, so thank you everyone who's taken the time to hit that subscribe button and join the channel. New comments in the comment section, all my regular viewers tuning in each and every day, and of course, that support I get from my Patreon members and my YouTube membership members, guys. Thanks again. This is an awesome experience each and every day. Wizards of the Coast has 5 major issues to deal with that have all happened to them before. And if they're going to use the same playbook they've used in the past, then players will know what to expect and will see it coming a mile away. Now, the recession is number 1 on the list. It's being thrown around a lot. And we all know that Wizards has gone through this before in 2008, 2009. You're talking around Zendikar and the World Wake era, okay? Now, that also means we've seen, number 2, Wizards has a slump in sales. We know their sales are lower. We know this because sales being lower means products are sitting on shelves inside stores right now. And if you see an accumulation of products at your store, chances are that's a good indicator that things aren't selling that well. Now, number 3, those poor sales, that means that several products are not doing very well. And I mean things like the new Jumpstart that they try to replace the theme boosters with. When you see a product in excess and nobody's talked about it and nobody's touching it, there's no good news about it, that's a bad sign for the economic climate going forward for that particular product. It means its head is already on the chopping block. Now, number 4, Wizards of the Coast, like in the past, has too many products on offer. They have too many things going on with too many issues associated with each individual product. And that leads us to number 5, and that is the price increases that they still threw out there, knowing that tough times were coming ahead. Guys, that's 5 major issues they have to deal with. But now, we can look at their playbook and we can see how they've solved these in the past and if they're actually going to be good for the players going forward. Now, before Wizards of the Coast opens up the playbook and changes things around, which they really don't like doing, they will go with the easiest solutions first. And that is, they'll try to change the channel. They'll tell you everything's okay. Everything's fine. Things are going to be great. It will get better. They do this by reaching out through YouTube creators, Reddit boards, their own personal access points, which is things like magazines, newspapers, websites, Twitch streaming, the areas that they control. Just like a news outlet station steering things in a certain direction, Wizards will first try to tell everyone that everything's okay, these products are doing awesome, they're having great sales. But we all know that that doesn't always work out. And when that happens, that's when Wizards has to open the playbook and start changing things up. So now that Wizards of the Coast has opened up their playbook, number 1 should be a recession-ending idea, which of course they don't control the recession. So as a company, they will try to weather the storm of that recession and make it through as a company as whole as they can. They've gone through this before with 2008, 2009, the subprime lending crisis that happened. As a company, they followed the next steps, though, in the playbook that got them through. Number 2, they will lower and tighten up production runs. They did this for the original Zendikar, for World Wake, Rise of the Eldrazi. They have gone through areas of Magic's history when the game was not as popular, and when they lowered production runs, those sets, along with well-constructed ideas, good storylines, and valuable cards, made those sets have a lot of value in the future. So as a company, they usually come out stronger. Like in the past, we've seen it. So you as a player at home, wondering what will happen, in the playbook that Wizards has used in the past, the sets that come up in the next 12 to 14 months will probably be very strong sets in the future because of the ideas and things they will change by the time those sets come to the stores. They will get sold out. They will not be replenished as easily because Wizards will move on to another set. Just like when Zendikar ran out at my local store, you couldn't get it anymore. Rise of the Eldrazi, same thing. They didn't go back and reprint, they just moved on because they didn't want to tie up the printers, the money, or the time and effort it takes to restock. Now, number 3, they are going to kill off some product lines. And that could mean things like Jumpstart are just gone. They could get rid of commander decks that are localized to each individual set and just go with the core commander decks. These slight cutoffs they do could be killing the product line entirely, or it could be number 4, which is just a suspension of some product lines. Like in car manufacturing, sometimes you mothball a product line until a later date when it becomes obvious that the people who want to buy those things are back in the market for it, and you bring those product lines back around, which could be the smaller Commander deck series that went along with Midnight Hunt and stuff, could be just mothballed because the templates are built and brought around again later on. And then, of course, you end off with number 5, which is the prices. They've increased the prices at a very bad time. And in the past, when they've done this, they will do some kind of announcement, just like we saw with like Loblaws here in Canada, where they will freeze prices. They will make some kind of announcement as a feel-good gesture to the players, saying, we understand the hard times you are going through right now. As players, we still want you to enjoy our product, and we are going to freeze prices for the next 12, 14, 24 months. They will give you some kind of number. Now, because we've gone through the playbook before, I basically have just told you everything that Wizards of the Coast will do or will plan to do. When you look at the things they've added to the sets like Dominaria United, Lost Legends, and the collector boxes, you will still see specialty products like that, but you might see them trying to attract people back into draft boxes and set boxes by adding some kind of specialty thing like they did in Zendikar. They will realize that some players just don't have the funds, or their funds are much lower because of what's going on in the world, but they'll still want to attract some of those players in with the possible opportunity to get something. They've done it before with the priceless treasures. You can expect to see stuff like this. When you've been through it before and you see the playbook they've used, this playbook's, it's a good playbook. They've got it right here. Very good playbook. When they got that book being used, all you have to do is flip ahead to see what they had planned for next. And chances are, if it worked once or twice before, they'll go there again. Even though they don't really want to, they don't want to freeze prices, they don't want to lower the product volumes, they also don't want to lose the business model. They don't want to kill off the goose that's giving those golden eggs. So they will slow things down. They will kill off some stuff and hold it in reserve for later on. Product numbers will be tightened up. These are facts. They're going to happen if the world keeps going on the route it's on right now. And because of that, you as a player can plan for this and look ahead and say, what happened with those sets? What happened with those products? What happened 5 years from now, 10 years from now? You can look back at Rise of the Eldrazi and say, this used to be a $100 box, now it's a $1,000 box. Which means products that come out in the future could be very valuable. There's no guarantees in life, but we've seen it happen before. And when you have those kind of metrics to follow, and you kind of put out and put aside all the things Wizards is telling you, and actually just look at the facts and detach yourself from if you hate Wizards or love Wizards, that can be a saving thing. Because the other thing that happens in recessions, is a lot of wealth is created. A lot of money is made. I remember buying Rise of the Eldrazi. I was one of the people who still had a job, and I'm in one of those fields that isn't too badly affected usually by recession, so I was still buying things, and those boxes became worth a lot of money. And since I know it's happened before, I know it can happen again. Just one of those things. I can't wait to see how you guys put stuff in the comment section today. Let me know how you feel about this. Thinking about the playbook information I've just given you, how do you think it will play out? Will they follow it right to the T? Because I think they will. And I think we'll start seeing it about 6 to 8 months from now as they slowly turn that ship around and start following the playbook. Because just telling us on YouTube and just telling us on the Twitch streams and the channels and the Reddit board saying, yeah, everything will be fine, just because Rosewater comes out and says it, or any other person that they have speaking for them, doesn't mean that's the way it's going to be played. Which means they'll have to open the playbook and get things moving the way they have before. Thanks a lot for tuning in today. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'm MTG Moxman, and I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow. Have an awesome day today. And a big thank you goes out to each and every person on my Patreon who supports me each and every day. Without these patrons, content like this would not be possible. Thank you. Welcome back, 3%ers. I've written something down here, right here on the paper. You're the 3%, so I'm going to tell you this. I was around, of course, for Zendikar, New Phyrexia, World Wake. I remember making a lot of money because I bought some of those boxes as extra and I sold them years later. I made a lot of money doing that. So my memory of going through all these situations has happened before. I would expect the Phyrexian print runs next year to be lower. Okay, they're going to save reprints and stuff and just move on. So you can expect those print runs to be lower. That's my prediction. Number 2, expect somewhere in 2024 when they do the announcement for 2024 to have Eldrazi back. Okay? Because that is something they will bring back to start boosting up the idea and the sales, which means it'll probably have a pretty good story. And they save that kind of gunpowder when they have to like move things up. They got to shoot something out of the cannon. That's something they'll do that will attract a lot of attention from players. So there's my 2 predictions for you. Thanks for being those 3% people who come through. Let's mark this down, because if these come to pass, it means that playbook is like basically like open for anyone who knows how to read what Wizards of the Coast is doing. All right, guys, have an awesome day today. I'll see you all tomorrow. You guys are awesome. 3%ers.